Welcome to The Explainer. And hey, if you've ever felt like your mind just won't shut off, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to build an anti-overthinking toolkit with 8 super practical techniques from the book Stop Overthinking, all designed to give you back control right now. So, let me ask you something. Does your mind ever feel like a leaky tap? You spend all your time mopping up the floor, the anxiety, the stress, but you never actually fix the source of the leak itself? Well, in this explainer, we're going to find the wrench and show you how to finally turn off that tap for good. Here's our game plan. First, we're going to play detective and find the source of the overthinking. Then we'll learn how to control our mental space so those worries have nowhere to grow. After that, we'll cover how to break the loop when you're in the thick of it. And finally, how to turn all that thought into real, decisive action. Let's get to it.
All right, let's dive into our first section. These first 2 tools are all about that detective work. They're designed to help you stop just mopping up the mess and instead find the actual source of the leak.
And that brings us to our first tool, the first brick rule. I want you to picture a huge wall of worry being built, one brick at a time. Now, instead of getting freaked out by the size of the wall, this technique teaches you to find that very first brick, that initial trigger, and just pull it out. The whole thing starts to crumble.
So how do you actually do it? You have to become a little more self-aware. Take Rhea, for example. She noticed her overthinking always spiked during office meetings, but then she got even more specific. It only happened in meetings that ran longer than 15 minutes, where she got assigned a bunch of tasks. That was her first brick. Just like I realized my own evening anxiety was totally linked to caffeine. Once you find that one trigger, you can deal with it directly. Okay, so you found the trigger, but you still have to deal with the thoughts themselves, right? Well, that's where our second technique, the witness stand method, comes in. This one's all about putting your anxious thoughts on trial. And this slide, wow, it just lays it out perfectly. You basically become a lawyer for your own peace of mind. Your overthinking brain, that's the prosecution, making these wild accusations. Your job is to be the defense attorney, demanding cold, hard evidence. So when Arjun's brain starts screaming, everyone's gonna laugh at your YouTube video, his factual defense comes back with, okay, where's the proof? Most people are indifferent, and some might even like it. Facts, not feelings, win this case. Every time.
Okay, so we're finding the source, we're challenging the thoughts. Now let's talk about the environment they grow in, your mental space. This is all about managing what goes in and what stays out.
Technique number 3 is called clear brain clutter, or CBC. And I absolutely love this analogy. Think of your brain as a refrigerator. If you just keep stuffing it with new information, social media feeds, news alerts, random articles, things are going to start to go bad in there. Your focus spoils, your mental clarity just decays.
Now, the solution isn't about, throwing your phone away. It's about becoming a curator, a bouncer for your own mind. You choose quality over quantity. You give your brain the space it needs to actually process information, not just consume it endlessly. Better inputs literally mean better thoughts.
Okay, but what about the worries that manage to sneak in anyway? For that, we have tool number 4, the Worry 15. What if you could treat your worries kind of like laundry? I mean, you don't wash one sock at a time, right? Of course not. You wait for the basket to fill up, and you do it all at once. This is the exact same idea. You schedule a 15-minute appointment with your worries each day. So when an anxious thought pops up at 10 a.m., you acknowledge it, you nod at it, and you say, got it, I see you. I'll deal with you at my 4 p.m. worry session. This is how you stop them from hijacking your whole day.
And listen, this isn't just some clever mind game, it's backed by science. Clinical trials on this time-boxing method show it can reduce anxiety by, get this, up to 35%. That's huge. You're not ignoring your worries, you're just managing them on your own terms.
So what happens when you're caught in one of those overthinking spirals, and you need an eject button, like right now? That's what this next section is all about. These are 2 in-the-moment techniques for immediate relief.
First up is the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. See, overthinking happens when our mind is totally unplugged from the present moment. We're lost somewhere in the future or the past. This technique, it's like a power cord that plugs you right back into reality.
It's incredibly simple, but so effective. You just systematically walk through your senses, just like you see on the screen, name 5 things you can see, 4 you can feel, and so on. This is so powerful at calming down the nervous system that they teach it to emergency room staff. It literally forces your brain to stop spinning and just start noticing what's right here, right now.
Now for technique number 6, the 2-minute turbo. Think about when your computer freezes up. What do? You reboot it. Well, guess what? You can do the exact same thing for your mind when it's stuck on that spinning wheel of death.
And the key here is you don't even try to argue with the thoughts. Forget it. Just change your physical state. Get up and do 25 jumping jacks, or take a brisk walk around the room for just 2 minutes. Research actually confirms that even these brief movements can break those nasty, repetitive thought loops we call rumination. It's a hard reset for your brain, plain and simple.
We're on to our final 2 techniques. Now, one of the biggest problems with overthinking is that it leads to paralysis. We get so tangled up in planning and worrying that we end up doing nothing. These final tools, they're designed to snap you out of it and get you moving.
And that brings us to tool number 7, the good enough principle. This one is a direct attack on perfectionism. The first pancake you make is always a little wonky, right? A little burnt, but who cares? The goal isn't a perfect pancake, the goal is just to start cooking. This principle is all about replacing that impossible standard of perfect with the achievable, action-oriented goal of good enough.
And finally, our 8th technique, name and tame. Think about a conference where everyone has a name tag. That tag identifies the person, but you know you are not that person. You do the same with your thoughts. Giving a thought a name separates it from you. You shift from that all-consuming feeling of, I am a failure, to the much more objective observation, I am having a thought that I might fail. And that little bit of space, that's everything.
And just like that, we've done it. We've moved quickly, but we have just put together a super powerful set of 8 tools. Let's do a quick final review of your brand new anti-overthinking toolkit. Here they are, all on one slide. 8 distinct strategies. From finding the root cause with the first brick rule, to challenging thoughts on the witness stand, to taking immediate action with the 2-minute turbo. Each one of these is a practical tool for a very specific situation. You're covered.
So here's the bottom line. You are no longer unarmed against that cycle of overthinking. You have a full toolkit ready to go. So the only real question left is the one you see right here. Which of these tools are you going to put to use first?